We thought he was just a substitute teacher, but the secrets he uncovered in our class weren't just ours, they were his revenge. It started like any other Monday morning at Millwood High, half-asleep students trudging into first period English, texting under desks, and muttering complaints about how much they hated school. But when we walked into Ms. Keller's room, something was different. Ms. Keller wasn't there. Instead, a tall, wiry man with piercing eyes stood at the front of the classroom. He wore a crisp suit, but his disheveled hair and the faint smirk on his face gave him an unsettling vibe. "I'm Mr. Thorne," he said, his voice calm yet commanding. "Ms. Keller is unavailable. I'll be filling in for the week." No one asked questions. Substitutes were a welcome break from Ms. Keller's grueling essays and pop quizzes. But within minutes, it was clear Mr. Thorne wasn't like other substitutes. He didn't stick to the lesson plan. Instead, he had us play a game. He handed out blank index cards and told us to write down a secret, something we'd never told anyone. "You don't need to sign your name," he said, pacing the room. "But be honest. This is an exercise in trust." The class buzzed with nervous laughter, but we played along. What harm could it do? Once we handed in the cards, Mr. Thorne shuffled them and began reading them aloud. At first, they were harmless. I cheated on my last math test. I'm scared of public speaking. But then, they got darker. I stole money from my parents. I spread a rumor about my best friend to get back at her. The class grew quiet. Uneasy. Then he read one that made my blood run cold. "I know who hurt her." I didn't say anything. Mr. Thorne looked up, his eyes scanning the room like a predator sizing up his prey. "Interesting," he murmured, setting the card aside. No one moved. No one spoke. "Let's continue," he said, his smirk growing wider. But he never did. Instead, he started calling students to his desk one by one, whispering questions that left them pale and shaken. By the time the bell rang, no one wanted to leave. Something about Mr. Thorne's gaze made it feel like walking out of that room wasn't an option. As I packed up, his voice stopped me in my tracks. "Miss Carter," he said, and I turned to see his unsettling smile. "I'll need you to stay after class. If you want part 2, make sure to comment part 2 and like and follow."